fun.
I won't be able to see chat because I'm so far away from the screen and everything.
Hey guys, we are live, and sorry we're late, but we just got up. We were talking to Michael so much, we totally lost track of time, but I realized we can't keep them all to ourselves. We got to share them with you. So welcome to The Writer's Journey. I'm your host, Lauren Moore, and with me is Kayleen Williams. We're two authors on a journey to learn everything we can about writing, so thanks for coming along the ride with us. Tonight, we're going to talk about Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads, if you've never tried them, you might have quickly learned that they can quickly take your money awfully fast. But that's where our readers are. They're on Facebook every day. So there's a whole lot of opportunity out there for us to reach new readers and to tell the readers that we have and the fans that we have that our new book is coming out and that they should get it right now. So we're going to ask the author of Help, My Facebook Ads Suck to come on and to share all his tips with us. And that's Michael. So Michael Cooper, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
And Michael is also dressed up today as one of his characters in his book. So,
which is like the coolest thing ever.
So I'm going to a gaming convention called PAX East in Boston. It's Thursday. It was actually on today, but I didn't go today. I was telling Lauren before we started, it'll be me and 60,000 of my closest friends all hanging out together. So it's a big cosplay convention. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to go out and have a great time in cosplay. So I was practicing the makeup today. And when I first mentioned that I could cosplay, Lauren seemed, I think it was Lauren that was extremely excited about the idea of having me on in cosplay. And probably both of you. Yes. I can't remember now.
Everyone's like, yes.
Yeah.
Everybody. So I did it. So here I am. Yeah. So this is a Marine uniform, or not uniform, but the armor for a Marine from one of my books. And then this is my favorite weapon. This is the Dolph Lundgren. So, you know, owning a Dolph is a very important thing in Aeon 14. If you have a Dolph, you command respect. So that's what I've got there as well.
Excellent. Well, a little bit about Michael for our readers. What's that?
Did you guys get the reference? You just sort of seemed to you didn't get the Dolph Lundgren reference.
Oh, no, I'm nervously anticipating reading off your whole bio, which is
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Dolph
not gonna lie, I thought of dolphins.
He's a huge 80s action star.
Oh, okay. That was way off.
We were born in the 80s.
I know.
I'm thinking badass dolphins.
People watching are going to get the fact that this is a Dolph, you know, and the Dolph commands respect, you know, because he almost killed Rocky and he killed Apollo Creed. So, I mean, the guy's serious. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I do know those names.
Rocky, I know.
And it just looks like a really badass dolphin machine gun. So I'm like, well, hell yeah, that's going to command respect. I don't know. It's a fucking dolphin machine gun.
Read the intro.
Okay, Michael Cooper is the creator of Aeon 14, a vast science fiction universe containing over 75 books written by 7 different authors. These books describe a future history for humanity, one where we must learn to live with the other species in the galaxy, the AIs we have created. With over 500,000 books sold or borrowed, Aeon 14 is a significant presence in the science fiction landscape, one that creator Michael Cooper will continue to expand, bringing more authors and characters into the fold and to life as the stories of the valiant heroes that make up Aeon 14 increase in scope and volume. In addition to creating Aeon 14, Michael has a passion for marketing and advertising and teaches classes on how to get your book in front of more readers and get them to buy. And he is here to share all of his tips with us tonight. So thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. That was really well read. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I don't think you slipped up once.
All right. So what have you guys been up to? How have you been?
Well, I've been cosplaying, so that's
yes.
getting ready to. Yesterday I made this actually, so that's my. Oops. This is my other little thing that I did. So I'm actually can bring it close to the camera.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to do this. Like you see people that make all this cool cosplay armor and whatnot, and they make it out of foam. So I found some tutorials and stuff like that on how to do it and put this together. It's still a little wet though, so I'm not going to put it on my head because I'm afraid I'm going to get like some sort of paint stain. Although you might not even notice if I did. So it might not be the end of the world.
So for our audio listeners, just imagine this. He's in a total bodysuit dressed up as one of his space marines. He's got this huge gun, which we've gone over, and now he's also shown us a helmet that he's made. He's crafted with his own 2 hands, and it is fantastic. So pretty sure you have to go on YouTube and watch this because it's kind of impossible.
At least for a little bit. I mean, I dressed up for everybody. Come on, you know, put on something nice.
Yes.
There you go.
This week, I've been editing a book for Galaxy's Edge. I'm super excited about this one. I think the fans are really going to love it. I've been working little bit by little bit on my book, just a little bit at a time. But Michael, I hear you release like a book a week.
I took February off. So other than February, it's been a book a week since August of last year. I think maybe we missed 1 or 2 weeks where we didn't release a book. Like I think like the week after Christmas, we didn't release a book type of thing.
That's amazing. So do you have a book coming up that you're launching?
Yep. Well, a book just came out today because it's Thursday.
Right.
Actually, the next week is a weird week because it's a co-author book I'm doing with Andrew Dobell. We're actually doing a crossover where one of his characters comes into my universe. So I write a hard science fiction universe and he writes a magic universe. So a magic user shows up in my hard science fiction universe.
That's going to be fun.
It was really good. So that one's coming out a little bit later. It's coming out this Sunday, the 7th. And then I've got another one coming out the following Thursday. And then actually after Andrew's done this one with me, he's writing with Barry Hutchinson, who writes the Space Team books.
Yes.
With, like, Flirt and Cal and everything. So Andrew's character is going to go to their universe. And then he's going to write one with Michael Anderle. So I think Bethany Ann and Amanda, Andrew's character, are going to end up hanging out together as well.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This like coalition of all of these universes and the characters just logically popping up in all the places. I love it. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Did you guys hear about the Bob's Bar books that we did?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
So this came out at Bob's Bar because these two characters met in Bob's Bar. So then Andrew's character was like, I wonder if I can jump universes as well on our own. So that's actually what started it. We built it off of that.
Wow, what a cool idea.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so other than the gaming convention that you're going to and the books that you're releasing, anything else? Any news that you've got to share?
I don't think so. That's all I am. I'm just books and cosplay right now. It's my entire life.
That's awesome. What about you, Kayleen? What are you up to?
Well, I am officially jumping back into my first series, cleaning that up. I am in the process of taking it down off of Amazon. So sometime by the end of the year, starting next year, I will begin the relaunch of it. New titles, new covers, stronger story arcs. And I'm also, because my brain just likes to screw with me this way, am outlining another series. So aside from Beyond the Echoes, I've got a second one rolling around in my brain tune there.
I really like the way you're going about it. So Michael, what she's doing is she's submitting short stories to anthologies, and she's been getting in them, and I've seen her writing kind of progress as she goes along, and now she's going to redo her first series, and she's got more coming on. I think you're doing this whole writer's journey thing. You are learning, you are growing, you're getting better, you're getting stronger, and I think it's awesome. So
thank you. Try.
That is interesting. It's I if you don't mind my asking, like, did the first? So I'm guessing the first series didn't sell a lot, which is why you're willing to pull it down.
Yeah.
Do you have a big mailing list right now or anything like that?
I don't have the mailing list. I've initially I was not in the yard of the mailing list, but on one of our shows, I can't remember who our guest was, but Rhett Bruno, yeah, he changed my mind about the mailing list. So I am gonna look more into that, get that started, get that going.
He's a smart guy too.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is because, you know, if you'd already marketed these books to a lot of your existing readers and then you changed it up, they might not buy again. But it sounds like you haven't done that, so this sounds perfect.
Yeah, no, I actually went in this morning to check to make sure when my KU 90-day will be up for each of the books for the ebook, unpublished, the paperbacks, and I had 18 pages read randomly in the last 3 days. So my one fan, I am sorry, but I'm going to be redoing it, and I hope you don't mind.
I'm excited to see what you come up with, like the covers and everything. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I can't wait to get into the cover part, and coming up with new names for them. But I'm going to keep the same series name just because I super love it, and go from there. So hopefully, cross my fingers. Won't be a dead fish anymore. Anyway, Facebook ads.
Sure.
So the first question is there's authors who tried running Facebook ads before, some who just kind of lost money on it, or they've had friends who ran them unsuccessfully. So for that author, why should we consider Facebook ads as a viable marketing strategy, do you think?
Well, the first thing you need to do is possibly determine that Facebook ads might not be a viable marketing strategy for you. They're not for every author, and that can depend on what you're writing and how many books you have out. So the thing that I recommend, and if any of the listeners have heard my spiel before, they know this, is that, so I came from a marketing background, and when you were doing marketing for a business, you had to explain to your boss, when he gave you like a $500,000 budget, you had to explain to your boss how you were actually going to prove that you got your money back, and that he wasn't just pissing money away by running these ads. So you have to figure out what your ROI is, how many sales you're going to get, and at what point this advertising campaign you're running was going to start making money for the business. And most authors have no idea. They just sort of piss money away, on all sorts of different things, hoping they'll make some sales. And the problem is that at any given point, like 25 or 50% of the things you're going to try are going to fail. So if you just throw money at everything, chances are it won't look like anything's happening. You're going to look like you're spending a whole lot of money and things aren't that much better than they were before. And you'll look at it and just say, I'm either losing money or maybe I'm just breaking even or something like that. So I realize that most authors have no idea what the value of a sale is. And so when we're writing books, everything we're doing is upselling. So when you're in business, of course, you sell one product and you want to upsell and get people to buy other products. And that's what we're doing with books. We sell one book and we're hoping they're going to go and buy the rest of our books. And it's very hard for us to make money, a profit on ads off of one book. So I created a spreadsheet that calculates your ROI, your value of your first book sale. So for me, since I have 75 books in my series, if I sell book one, I make about $120. Every single month I sell book one. And that's assuming that some people just disappear and read 4 pages and leave. And some people maybe read a couple of books and drop off. So because the spreadsheet I made, you put in all your sales, and you might want to do it for maybe 3 months or 6 months or 1 month, all depending on how much you sell. And it will actually tell you what your read through is, how people drop off on your books. And then it'll give you, and this assumes just one series. You have multiple series, you have to do it for each series. It'll tell you when you sell book one of a series, how much money you're going to make. And then okay, if I'm say for example, it's $7. Every time you sell book one with your read through and drop off, you make $7. If I spend more than $7 to sell book one, I'm losing money. And it becomes a really easy way to tell whenever you're doing any sort of advertising campaign as to whether or not you made money. And most authors don't know this. And of course, you don't really know at the beginning because you haven't sold any books. But at a certain point, you have to figure it out. And depending on your sales and your pricing, what a lot of authors will find out is that you actually can't profitably run Facebook ads until you have 3 or 4 books.
Okay. Is it different with Amazon ads, do you think?
Amazon ads are a little bit different because for one, you're advertising there to people who are already looking at books. So they've already got books on the brain, whereas on Facebook, you're advertising people who are looking at recipes and cat pictures. So you have a bit of an uphill battle to get them into books to begin with. So Amazon, and then of course, Amazon is more likely to make a sale because the reader is expecting to be on a product page, whereas on Facebook they're not. So you can control your costs better on AMS. So if you're very budget conscious and you don't have a lot of money, AMS is a far better bet to get visibility, to get people seeing your cover than Facebook is. But by the same token, you're always beside 47 other books. So you're always competing for attention with every other book that's showing up on that page, which is a lot these days. So, and of course, you got to pay a lot to get in that first 6 as well, because those are the ones that show up first before you have to start scrolling.
So the spreadsheet that you were talking about earlier for the Facebook ads, is that available?
Yep.
For people like us?
Yeah, if you go to the 20 books Facebook group, it's if you go in the file section, search for Facebook ads for fun and profit. And I have a PDF that sort of outlines how to use the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is in there as well.
Kaylena's writing that down.
Maybe.
So Facebook ads, they're a good idea for authors because there's less competition on the screen. A lot of your readers are already on that screen throughout the day, so you have a chance to reach them. Are there any other benefits why we should consider using Facebook ads?
Well, I mean, one of them is that you're it's like it's a little more of a captive audience. The other one is that you just want to reach more people. You know, people are only on Amazon buying books when they're thinking about buying books, but they're on Facebook, you know, and that might be like 15 minutes a day, maybe 30 minutes a day tops, but they're on Facebook for 4 or 5 hours a day. So their chances of just seeing your ad is a lot better than it is on Amazon. And so it's the trade-off though. But the main thing you want to get when you're trying to, I mean, you guys know this all too well, I'm sure, is that you want eyeballs. You want new eyeballs on your book. And Facebook is one of the ways to help you get that. I would never say do either or Facebook or Amazon ads. You got to do both. Is sort of the tack I would take. Although if you are more budget conscious and starting out, Amazon ads are the better way to go. And then once you have a little bit more of a budget, then you can dip your toes into Facebook ads.
So Amazon ads works by you place a bid, and then if other people's bids are lower, then yours gets a top seat. And you set your budget for how many dollars a day, and Amazon figures out how many clicks you can get to meet that budget. How does Facebook work for their ads?
The exact same way.
Oh, good.
Yeah, basically every advertising campaign out there, platform out there, with a few small exceptions, you're basically in a bidding war against other people for placement, and then you only pay if someone clicks. So
that's good to know.
Yeah, so that ranking, of course, like you see on the sponsor things, is all you're bidding for placement, but of course, unless no one clicks, then you don't pay for that. And it's the same thing on Facebook. And you can set a maximum bid on Facebook. You can tell it that you don't want to set a maximum bid. You can just tell it to automatically try and get the best bid it can. And that might be, so that's something that I do. But when people are starting out, sometimes they want to set a maximum bid just because they're worried. But you also set daily budgets, just like on Amazon. And then the neat thing on Facebook that you can do that you can't do on Amazon is Facebook. Well, there's pros and cons. On Facebook, you can't target individual authors because they don't have a presence on Facebook for you to target them. But you can target general interests, which is a lot better for finding certain types of audiences. Like, for example, say you're writing political thrillers, you could say, I want to target men over 45 in red states, and you could actually target those people for your political thriller, which is not something that's possible to do on Amazon. So there's ways of focusing in on different audiences as well with this. Or, for example, you want to target, you're writing romances, and maybe your romances are focused on I'm not an expert on marketing for romance, but say they're focused on older women. You would just, obviously just tailor your ads to older women. Or if you're writing science fiction like me, what I do is I look for the authors from yesteryear that were really big, like Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov and stuff like that. And I target all of those guys. And then I also throw in people who are watching modern TV shows, modern sci-fi TV shows. I say they have to be interested in one of these old timey sci-fi authors and be watching new TV shows. And that's how I know that I think they'll like my style, because I write like a lot of those older authors. And if they're still into sci-fi by watching new TV shows, then I know that they'll be a good fit.
So this is really interesting, because we've come across this particular question a lot. How do I find my types of readers? So through the Facebook ads, I mean, you're very specifically targeting different types of people, mindsets, likes, dislikes, and from there, I mean, that is a really easy, quote unquote, way to find like who those readers are, who your people could potentially be. I like it.
Yeah, it can be a great way to even just to try things, test things out. Like Chris Fox actually uses Facebook ads, because when you do Facebook ads, you can make a whole bunch of them and then just sort of see which one's working better. So you can create a campaign, you put multiple ads into it, and Facebook will even pick the winner if you want it to. He uses it to test his hook line for his blurbs.
Oh,
each ad will have a different hook line in it that he's going to have on his book, and he does this before the book even comes out. He does it while it's on pre-order, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does it some other time, because I don't think he always runs pre-orders. But he does this sometimes just to test out which one's working better, and then he knows, okay, like this one is head and shoulders above the other ones. That's the one I'm going to put on my Amazon product page as well. So you can do some. I mean, it's a little bit more of an expensive test for someone who's budget conscious. They may not be able to do that, but there's a lot of interesting things you can do once you start seeing how. Because on Amazon, you have no idea how humans are interacting with the content you put out there. But on Facebook, you get to see how humans are behaving and what they think of your ad. Like I have one ad now that has 5,000 shares and has 400 comments. and people are getting into arguments in the comment threads on the ad and stuff like that. It's great because I'm just like, I'm learning so much about my readers, or potential readers, or what's turning people off. They're like, oh, I didn't like this thing. I'm not going to go read this book now. So I get a lot of information that way.
Right. So you have contact directly with your readers. You can get their feedback specifically on that ad to see if it's working.
Yeah, and then I make fun of them.
And then you can make fun of them. That's right. And also you have more options for reaching different readers by different kinds of interests. And you can see what works and what doesn't. The guys in chat, Ken says, I think Facebook charges per impression, not click.
You can choose. You can't do per click until you get your first bill. And then after that, you can do per click.
There's the secret.
Yeah. And some people swear by impression and some people swear by click. I find I've done some tests and I found them to be actually 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I just like only paying for click because I don't want to pay unless I got something. It's just sort of just a personal thing with me. But what I would say with everybody is test it. Maybe for your audience, impression works better than click.
Now, for our new authors, what's the difference? What is an impression versus what is a click?
So, a click is pretty straightforward. It's someone actually clicked on your ad and ended up going to the destination. An impression is eyeballs saw the ad.
But they didn't necessarily do anything about it.
They may not have done anything. So you could have 1 million people see your ad and 0 people click, and you'll still have to pay. Whereas if you do it per click, you only pay if people actually interact. Which is why Facebook makes you do impressions first, because they figure if you suck, they want to make sure that at least they get something.
Oh, okay.
So essentially the Facebook scrolling with your thumb through your phone, if your ad flips through their thumb but they don't stop to click on it, that's still going to cost you something.
That still costs you something.
Yeah.
I think they have some stuff where like if the person has to like see it for a second or something like that, like they're actually pretty savvy about that. But effectively, yeah, if that's you will pay for someone just scrolling past your ad. You pay very little though. It's minuscule, but you will pay.
William Tyler Davis says that Facebook does spend, as Amazon sometimes does not spend through. Could you explain what that means for the audience?
Sure. Like I'm sure if you've run AMS ads, surprised no one's complimented me on my fantastic outfit yet. No, just kidding.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
It's fine. I'm fishing for compliments now. It's hilarious. I can't see it because it's so far away. But or they're making fun of me. One of those two things is happening right now.
No, I did see one earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
I'm scrolling.
I just figured there'd be hecklers or something by now. So what was the question now? Oh yeah, spending. So I'm sure if anybody who's run AMS ads, sometimes you're like, this AMS ad is working. It just never spends any money. But when it does spend money, it actually works. And I think pretty much everybody who's run AMS ads has had that feeling. If Amazon would just spend my money, I would actually make a mint. But they don't. But Facebook will spend your money hands down. They have no problem showing your ads. They will gladly show your ads, all day long. And if you give them the $100 budget, they will spend that $100 gleefully. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. If you got an ad that's working, you can ramp it up and you'll start moving a lot of books, or at least getting a lot of clicks. Because that's the thing people forget. The Facebook ad does not sell your book. It just gets someone to go to the Amazon page. The Amazon page still has to sell your book. So all the stuff there about your blurb, your cover, all that jazz still has to be rock solid. And it should tell a story too. Like if you entice me with a Facebook ad, I shouldn't see the exact same copy on the Amazon page. Because what if that wasn't enough to entice me to buy? What if it got me interested, but it just whet my appetite? I go, there's the same thing. I'm like, it's not compelling enough, and I leave.
So I'm gonna actually skip to a question that I have later down in our pool of questions here, because I've heard that it's not as viable to use your book cover on a Facebook ad. You should use other imagery that creates the tone of your story, of your series. So would you? I don't know what the question is in there, but
yeah, I do. The reason why is that Facebook doesn't want things that look like ads to be in the feed. They want it to look, because Facebook, it's like 2 or 3 years ago now, they hit peak ad. And what that means is that they reached a point where if they put any more ads in front of people will start abandoning the platform. So they know exactly how many ads they can stick in front of you before you get fed up and quit using Facebook. And they run it right below that. And one of the ways they're better at doing that is that their ads don't look like ads. If you look at most of the Facebook ads, you see there's a video, it's a single picture, and stuff like that. and they penalize you if you put text in your ad because they don't want it to look like an ad. It's not to say that an ad with a book cover doesn't convert better. It might actually be better for humans. A human might see that and be more compelled to buy, but Facebook will charge you more money and show it less often as a result. They used to, originally they wouldn't show them at all. They would just say, nope, there's text in this. We will not let you use this image. And now they'll do it, and they'll let you submit it for review as well. But even I found if you submit it for review, it still shows less than one that doesn't have any text in it at all.
And when you say with text, you mean the physical picture itself, not like the added ad
Correct.
copy.
Yeah, somewhere in the picture, in the JPEG, there's text. And of course, since book covers always have text, anytime you use a book cover, you're sticking text on there. And the thing to think about too is when you're thinking about an ad, if you're thinking about a newspaper ad or like a banner ad on the website, you have to put text in the picture because that's all there is. But on a Facebook ad, you have a headline, you've got a paragraph, you've got all sorts of other places to put text. So you do sort of change your mindset to say, okay, yeah, I actually do have other places to put all this text. And it's actually more compelling in some respects. It's black on white, so it stands out a lot more versus trying to, get all the text to show on an image that may be small or cropped funny or something like that. And the other angle too is that if you try to use your book cover art, a lot of times it's not really that good at the sizes you want to show it to, because you're going to be like, you have to like cut a person off. It'll be like from here to here. It'll be kind of like an awkward sizing or something like that. So that's why it's better to just use evocative pictures, stuff that matches your genre. And if you keep an eye out for AppSumo deals, you can get pictures off depositphotos.com for $1 a picture.
That was going to be my next question. Where do you recommend people find these mysterious photos?
There are some sites that will give you free pictures. There's one called Pixabay or Pixbay, one of the two. I am suspicious about whether or not all the pictures on there are actually free for use. Because some of them are really, really good. I'm like, there's just no way that someone made this picture and just stuck it out there for free for everybody to use. But if you're daring, you could do that. Depositphotos.com is probably the cheapest of all of the different photo sites. Although lots of the ones have sales, like there's like iStock.com or iStock Photo. Adobe has one, so if you actually have an Adobe Photoshop subscription, you might actually get a couple of pictures every month with that. But the nice thing then too is that you're not spending a lot of money on it. So because a lot of people, they'll get like these fancy ad images made along with their cover, but what if it doesn't work? You maybe spent like $30 or $40 or maybe even more on this fancy ad. It doesn't convert at all. Whereas if you can grab 7 pictures for $1 a pop, put them all up there and then see which one works and turn off the other ones, and away you go. And I've had some that are just amazing. They just take off. They do super well and make gobs of money. And other ones that it's funny too, because ones that I think might work don't, and ones I just throw up in a lark work perfectly.
So which ones have worked for you that you've seen?
Well, the one that, and anybody who's heard my spiel before knows this. I call it the Starship Ass. It's basically, remember, did you guys watch A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie back in 1977, where the Imperial Star Destroyer came over and there was the engines, and you're just like,
yes, so, I have seen that.
There you go. So it's a shot that looks a lot like that. There's just like big starship engines and it's flying off somewhere. And I guess everybody, my readership, they all think the same thing. They're like, Star Wars, so they click and they love it. And I feel like most genres have that sort of like that iconic imagery that everybody sort of is familiar with. It's used in movies and stuff like that. And if you can find images that have that, you can do really well. One of the things you have to do is most people get really hung up. They're like, I need to, like, my angel in my series has black wings, therefore I can only put an angel with black wings in my ad. It's like, no, don't worry about that. You're not Marvel. You don't have the money to get whatever you want. You want to try and get something to get someone's attention, get them to click, and then if they see your book cover with your angel with the black wings at that point and they're still cool with it, then it'll work.
Yeah. So. Have you ever heard of a reader complain about that? Like, on the cover, your main character has blonde hair, but in your book, she actually has red hair or brown hair or something. Have you ever come across a complaint like that? Or
I think if you had a hair color issue like that, yeah, I think you might get some readers that would complain. Because they're going to put one image in their head, and then the first time they encounter it in the book is different. Mm-hmm. I mean, it might be one thing if like the very first interaction with that character, you give out the hair color. And then they create the right image in their head from then on. But every time they're going to look at the cover of the book, they're going to be pissed off. They're like, why the hell is it redhead on the front?
Who is this person?
Yeah. But I mean, that's really, any decent cover artist can change someone's hair color in a matter of minutes. So
that's a complaint that like I've heard, I would have thought, but then I've never actually seen anyone write that complaint anywhere.
Well, hopefully it just never happens. I mean, who would do that?
I had a client who did. She had really fantastic looking covers, but I'm like, wow, the hair color doesn't match, but that's all right.
I mean, maybe they're pre-mades, and the pre-made person just wouldn't change them. But I mean, like a decent cover artist can change the hair color in a matter of minutes. Like one of my main characters, her name is Jessica. She has purple hair. The model did not have purple hair. She was a blonde. So, you know, every book, actually, her skin's purple too. So obviously, the model did not have purple skin.
Yeah, that would be a tough thing to try and do. So we're going to take a small break for a second for our show sponsor, and then we're going to jump back into all of this amazingness. Tonight on The Writer's Journey is brought to you by Valhalla Station, a space opera noir techno-thriller, the SynCorp Saga, Empire Earth Book 1, by Chris Pourteau and David Bruns. Bruns? I'm sorry. The Expanse meets The Godfather in the space opera noir techno-thriller about corporate greed, rebellion, and mankind's survival among the stars. Revolution threatens a long-standing peace. 30 years after the Syndicate Corporation saved Earth from climate change extinction, SynCorp's 5 factions rule the solar system with an iron fist wrapped in a velvet glove. Food, entertainment, safety, security, SynCorp provides it all. In return, the company requires complete loyalty and obedience to corporate law. The soldiers of the solar revolution claim life in SynCorp. Oh God, the sentence always screws me up. The soldiers of the solar revolution claim life under SynCorp is slavery cloaked in comfort. They launch their rebellion, targeting the pillars of corporate production, sabotaging refineries on Mars, shattering Callisto's orbital ring. Meanwhile, brutal pirates siphon off company resources in the belt, and hackers tap into citizens' implants, addicting them to fantasies shaped from their own dreams. Besieged on all sides, SynCorp's 5 factions are in retreat. The rebels aim to destroy the company to free mankind, but does mankind really want to be freed? Click now, buy today.
That's good.
Sorry, I keep messing up that sentence. I'm so sorry. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program.
I take it that's happened before you flubbed up that sentence?
God, it's just my brain, for some reason, does not want to make the connection of the words to its meaning. It just every time.
I think what you do is you just practice reading it in the Inner World voice. You know the Inner World guy?
Inner World.
Yeah, Inner World, where the corporations control everything. Something like that. I'll record it for you, then you can just play it. And you can like mouth the words, but it'll be my voice. It'd be hilarious.
Let me see. The soldiers of the solar revolution claim life under SynCorp is slavery cloaked in comfort. Oh my God, that worked.
That worked really well.
That is amazing. I need to do that every time now.
I'm going to watch next time just to see you do it.
Right.
All right. Well, in chat, shout out the illustrator. He said, yeah, Pixabay. Pixabay is meant for artists to get references. If you submit photos, you get more access to more photos. And he also points out that if you look around Pixabay, be careful because they advertise Shutterstock images, and those you do have to pay for.
There you go.
Yeah, Pixabay. So if we don't want the book cover on our ad, what do we want? I know you already said look for an image that really reflects your genre and connects with the audience who love that genre. What are some other things that we would want on our ad?
Contrasts well in the Facebook feed. So an image that has a lot of blue is going to get lost in the Facebook feed.
Right.
So you want something that's going to stand out against the background it's going to be shown in. And you want something that's badass. I mean, hopefully, what I feel is, especially if you're just starting out, you should be writing in a genre you love. So you should be able to spot the pictures that work well for you. Like you see the picture, like I want to read the book that this picture is of. You know. So hopefully that should be something that can help people out as well. You're gonna have the same emotional reaction to that picture that you want your fans to have.
And then do you want like that one sentence tagline that just?
So I believe that we are writers and we're trying to sell that to people. So I actually write very long copy in my Facebook ads. And actually I know one person, this was like about 1.5 years ago now, in the 20 books group, she just put her first chapter in the ad.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And it converted really well.
How'd you do that with the word limit or the text limit? Or
there's a pretty long text limit. It's like 2,000 words or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess her first chapter was short enough that it would fit, but you can get 3 or 4 pages worth of book easily in that Facebook ad.
And then how did it sell?
She said it worked really well. I don't remember what her numbers were, but it was enough to make. And she was getting it was costing like 6 cents a click or something like that too. So it was working very well.
Well, I hear a lot. If you don't hook the reader in the first 500 words in the first 5 pages, then they're not going to stick around. So, I mean, if you could have that in your ad,
get it out of the way right there.
Where people are there to read and look at fancy pictures.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to hook them.
The other thing too is that Facebook shows ads that get engagement more. So obviously, it looks at it. Engagement's a big thing with Facebook. People are clicking, liking, whatnot. Commenting, of course, is the #1 type of engagement. But clicking the read more link on something that has long text is also engagement. So if you have longer copy and they click that little more link to read more of your ad copy, that counts as ad engagement, and it's more likely to make your ad show up.
Oh my goodness. All of these pieces are starting to come together in my head. You have this short hook, you have a space, you have another short hook, you have a space, you have the thing. They're like, read more. Freaking now you have more engagement and you're going to be seen more. It's
exactly.
Brain blast.
That is how it works.
That is awesome. Okay.
And then are you sending people to your Amazon book page?
Directly, yeah.
To sign up for your newsletter or something?
I send them right to my Amazon page. I want them. The only thing I want them to do is buy.
Okay. So do you put essentially a link at the end? Do you use like a link shortener, or do you just in the Amazon link, do you just cut off everything, all the gook to get just that little bit? Or
you should always cut off anytime you use an Amazon link, you should always cut off the gook. Because it can mess up a bunch of other things if you don't. So always end it right at the ASIN whenever you're copying your link to your book. I actually use affiliate links in my ads, which you're really not supposed to, but I haven't been caught yet, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Don't say that on air, man. You're live.
I say it every time I talk about this, because what I say is if anyone from Amazon is listening, we sure would love tracking, because the only way we can track whether or not an ad is converting is by using affiliate links.
True.
I would gladly stop using affiliate links if they gave me a way to track sales, like track when I send someone to the page. I could use like tracking codes. Do these people buy? I would gladly stop using affiliate links, but until then, it's the only way I can do it.
So, dumb question here. By affiliate link, do you mean that like they click on the picture that you have and then it takes them somewhere, or do you mean there's like a URL at the bottom of the ad that they click on?
So an affiliate link means basically you get money when someone buys the thing that you're linking to. So I could be linking to Sony televisions on Amazon, and if someone buys it, I would get some money off of that. Amazon's website, affiliate.amazon.com, where you sign up for this. And once you do that, you have to get it approved. And you have to show you have to show you a website that actually gets traffic and stuff like that. Once you do that, you get this little bar at the top of Amazon. Whenever you're browsing Amazon, you can click a link on any Amazon product, and it will give you a tracking URL. It's like amzn.to is the domain name. And then when someone clicks that, it then takes them to your whatever product. In our case, it's our books that we're selling. And you have a dashboard where you can actually see the clicks and you can see how many of them sold.
Oh, so if someone's on your Facebook ad and they click on your affiliate link and they go to Amazon, then say they don't want to buy your book, but they do go, oh wait, I wanted to buy
a TV.
Yeah, a TV.
Or underwear.
They go on. They stay on Amazon. They proceed to go and buy a TV, and there's
underwear.
Affiliate link.
I'm thinking you sold some underwear.
Oh, I've sold everything. You get to see what they buy. So like you see dildos, you see everything, all the fun stuff. But yeah, you're like, where did they click the link for this book and they bought what? Baking soda? Like what the heck?
So your Facebook ad was still profitable even if your book per se didn't sell.
Well, you get like a couple of cents. You don't get big money off of that.
But it still might pay for the cost of the ad, or
I make about $500 or $600 a month off of affiliate links.
So it's definitely something that's worth looking into, and if you can drop one, drop it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're the terms of service for Amazon affiliate links, so you can't use them anywhere where bidding is going on for keywords. So obviously that's ads, Amazon, Facebook ads. And it also says you can't use them in your newsletter, although you can get permission to use them in your newsletter. There's like a form you can fill out and get permission for it.
Okay.
And then you can also get a UK and a Canada and a CA and an Australia affiliate account and everything like that. And then every different site you can track whether or not you're making sales off the links. They don't. Their tracking is garbage at the same time. Like I'm pretty sure they miss about half the sales for a variety of reasons. Because if another person with affiliate link sent someone to Amazon half an hour earlier, and then you send them to Amazon, you don't get credit. That other person gets credit. So there's a lot of stuff like that where people are like, I know that I sent more people to Amazon than this, and the affiliate tracking doesn't show it. And it's like, yes, there's lots of reasons for that, but at least it's something. It's some sort of barometer that you can use. Like if you run an ad and you have an affiliate link hooked up to it, and you discover that after 4 days there are no sales, you can be pretty sure it's probably not working. So at least you'll know something.
In the chat, Guy Anthony DeMarco, he added in Keystroke Medium's affiliate link. We do have one. I'm not going to read it off to you guys. William Tyler Davis says, I sold a lawnmower before. It was the best.
Yeah.
Someone named Jill Cooper, she's on the chat, and she said, we sold nursery room furniture once.
That would be my wife, apparently. She's you see some weird things come up in there. Sometimes you're like, Amazon sells that? Let me go check that out. But yeah, every now and then someone will buy like a TV, which is great. That's always fantastic when that happens too.
All right, so we had a question about maybe changes in Facebook ads that you've seen. Have you seen like your reach change with the ads, or you've had to maybe change your strategy for some reason? Have you seen any changes in Facebook ads, and do you see any changes coming down the pike in the future?
Facebook is, since I first wrote my book, Help My Facebook Ads Suck, which was in June of 2017 now, actually, Facebook has made a lot of changes, but most of them are Facebook trying new things. Like people are like, oh, Facebook's doing this new thing. And it doesn't really work in many cases because Facebook's experimenting as much as anybody else is. So what I found is still tried and true. The best way to get stuff done is to have a single image ad. People see that single image, they click and they buy. Video can also work. In fact, I do run some videos myself. The problem is that videos are expensive to make. Your bare minimum cost for like a 16-second to 30-second video is probably, for most people, it's going to run you about $50. And then so you make a video that's 30 seconds long, it costs you $50, and you sell 4 or 5 books, you've just lost a whole lot of money. So I recommend to people not to get into video until they really have single image ads nailed down, and then get into video from there. People are less likely to buy on video as well because we're used to seeing a picture and then clicking that picture, but people aren't used to seeing a video and then clicking a video and having that go to a product. It doesn't actually work as well. But what Facebook will let you do is it lets you create audiences based off of other activity. So one of the things, for example, you can do is if you have a website, you should be putting the Facebook pixel on the website. And Facebook, if you go to their help section, they have a lot of help on how to get the Facebook pixel onto your website, whether you're on WordPress or whatnot. And what that means, so the interesting thing is that if you come to my website and you're also logged into Facebook, so like if you were to go to Facebook in Chrome and you're automatically logged in, that means Facebook has a cookie in your browser so that it knows who you are. It's linked your browser to a Facebook account. So when you come to my website, Facebook knows who you are on my website. And the whole internet's like this. If you use the internet, basically everybody knows who you are based on what you're logged into somewhere. They know your name, they know what you like. And Facebook actually loves it because they're like, oh, Aeon 14 is about books. This other site's about this thing. This other site's about this thing. So as you browse the web, Facebook is learning more and more about what you like. And Google does the same thing. In fact, Google actually can tell what you're thinking by the websites you're going to and the pattern you're using to go through.
Yes, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Very creepy. But the great thing is we can use this too. Because what you can do then is you can say, anybody that goes to this page in my website, I want to make an audience out of them. And I want to show them my ads on Facebook. So that's something that you can do as well. And then in addition to tie that into the video, what I do is I have a bunch of videos on Facebook and I have other ads that only show to people who saw those videos and watched them for more than 10 seconds. So I'm building a funnel and I'm leading them along into the next steps.
How do you set that up?
When you go to create audiences in Facebook, and in Facebook ads, there's a section to create a new custom audience, and you can pick the source, be it data from your Facebook pixel or video views or interactions with other ads. There's a whole lot of options in there.
Create audience, then source.
Yep. And they changed the terminology, but if you kind of look around for stuff like that, you should be able to find it.
Keep poking around and checking. I like it.
Yeah. You can always hit me up too. People can always message me on Facebook and ask me if I said something and they're like, where do I go to do that thing? You just message me on Facebook and I'll be happy to help.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds us. We actually are having Michael come back on in 2 weeks for marketing book sales part 2. Today was just Facebook ads, and then in 2 weeks he's going to come back and give us kind of like a big, broader strategy for marketing and kind of tie up the marketing series for us. So we're looking forward to that. That's April 11th.
It's going to be super fun. I don't want to miss it.
Yep, that's where I have all the special secrets that I'm not sharing right now. No, I'm not holding anything back specifically, but I mean, there's more than I can fit in an hour under any circumstances.
Exactly. All right, so your book is Help My Facebook Ads Suck. What are some things that we should avoid as authors so our ads won't suck?
Well, I think one of the things you want to do is, I think you want to avoid the hard sell, which is where you're like, buy my book now. Here's this great thing, buy it. Really short copy. And not everybody agrees with me on this. There are people who actually are blurb doctors and whatnot who recommend short, choppy copy. I hate that stuff myself personally. It's an immediate turnoff because I'm like, I want the book. I'm reading ads and I'm reading the blurbs like I would be reading the blurb on the back of a book. And I expect that to be indicative of the prose I'm going to find inside the cover. And in looking at my Facebook ads and the comments I get, I know that to be true. Because if people will actually say, well, if the book's anything like this ad, I'm not going to read it, which is always humbling when someone puts that message on your ad. But what that told me is that people are actually looking at the ad as an indicator of what they're going to find inside the book. So I find that if you write really short, choppy copy, that's going to be a detriment. Because what we do is we're good at long form copy, us authors. That's what we do all the time. And we're good at telling a story, and I think you should focus on that in your ads. The only time I would say when that's not appropriate is if you're running a sale. If you're running a sale, then yeah, you say the reason to buy is because of the price, not because of anything else. Or the primary reason I should say is the price. So that would be a big thing. The other thing is stop doing things that aren't working as quickly as possible. When I used to do software development, we called that failing fast. So don't fail slow, fail as quickly as possible so you can stop doing wrong things and put your energy into right things. So that's why it's important to, whenever you create a new ad, to look at all the early indicators as quickly as possible, which are things like the frequency, which is how often it's showing. Your cost per click is a big one, because if it's too expensive, then you don't want to show that ad anymore. And then there's a thing called the relevancy score, which is a score that Amazon or Facebook gives you. That is how relevant your ad is to the people you're showing it to. And if that number isn't 7 or higher, then basically people are annoyed by your ad. And there's lots of people that are probably either, they could actually be marking it as spam, marking it as not relevant, and stuff like that. So as soon as you see those bad indicators, kill that ad and start a new one. And don't sit there and just keep running the same ad over and over again, wondering why you're just pissing money away and not having anything good happen.
And so you're keeping track of all that kind of data on your spreadsheet.
Yep.
Just gonna say, it was interesting what you're saying about the short, choppy,
choppy
copy that's been going around versus the longer prose written one. Before I went like hardcore into writing and publishing and all that. This is quite a while ago though. I never ever read blurbs, ever. Never, ever, ever. I would completely ignore them because they were never written in the author's voice.
Right.
So I would read the blurb and then get to the first page, and I'm like, this isn't what, the book sounds like. The blurb's completely different from what the actual story is. So I was conditioned from a very young age to ignore blurbs. So now that I'm actually publishing, I have this tendency to try and keep that same author voice. So
that's a good idea.
Long-winded way of agreeing with you. I'm kind of trying to find like that fine point in between of the long prose and the choppy copy,
right?
And that happy medium of author voice and people having short attention spans.
I actually have a lot of books without blurbs, as a side note.
Did not know that.
Yeah. whatever, it's like book 9 in a series. It's like if you're going to read it, you're going to read it. You know, my blurb is not going to convince you at book 9. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, eventually, usually I remember at some point and put some sort of blurb in there, but some of them just like have like one sentence or like a couple of words or something like that. And that's like, I think I have a book 1 that's coming out in 2 weeks, and the only thing in his blurb is "A queen will rise," is the entire blurb.
That is awesome.
Maybe it's working though. I mean, it's got 560 pre-orders, so
there you go.
Well, maybe they're buying it not for your blurb then, but for other reasons. Like,
oh yeah, they probably are.
Books.
Oh yeah, it's hard for me to tell on stuff like that because it's an existing character that's starting a new series. So
right.
You're gonna be able to get to the point where you just have like the splotch and it's just Michael Cooper. It's just like, gotta have it. It's Mike Cooper. That's awesome. That is the author point that I want to reach. Anyway.
Well, and maybe those are pre-orders are coming through your newsletter too. Not so much.
One of the things I do is whenever at the end of every single book that I release, there's a link to pre-order the next book. So I never have a book to come out that there's no link at the end. Like it says the end, has a little bit of sentence, and then the link for the next book. You know, and that's really important to actually, you know, selling the next book, because you've got them right there. It's a high point. They're invested. You know, they loved it, and they're going to want to click and keep going.
Right. Mentally, I'm thinking, okay, so if you put your book up for pre-order, doesn't that put a deadline on you for getting that book written, edited, published on time?
Yep.
How long ahead of time can you put up a pre-order? Or
90 days.
90 days. Oh, okay.
You write a book in 90 days. It's easy. 3,000 words. 3,000 words a day is 100,000 words in a month.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be getting whiplash, man. But
well,
one day I'm going to reach that level of.
I'm not a very fast writer. I just put my butt in the chair a lot, but my record I think is 260,000 words in 1 month is what I managed to do one time. Not counting any co-authored books. That was just stuff. That was new words I wrote myself.
Well, your wife in chat, she tattled on you and she says he doesn't sleep.
I do sleep. I go to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I get up at 7 or 8. Sometimes 8:30.
So I can't find it right now, but we did have a question earlier. I want to say it was from Rick Partlow, asking how you have all this time to do all this writing and the awesome costumes and whatnot.
Cosplay.
Yes.
Actually, to be honest, especially because she's in chat, I have to know. I would say this even if she wasn't in chat. It's my wife.
Oh.
She creates this bubble that I get to exist in, where I'm able to do this much work. So it's all her.
She says he never leaves the chair. I guess she gives you that opportunity that you don't have to.
I have multiple chairs. I actually move between different chairs. You know, that's worth noting. I have a treadmill desk too, so I actually do get exercise. I can write and walk at 3 miles an hour on the treadmill desk. So that's my superpower.
You dictate? Is that how?
No. I whenever I dictate, I've tried it a couple times. It doesn't. My voice is different when I dictate.
Oh.
I use different words than I would use normally. And I say a lot and stuff like that. I'm pausing, I'm thinking, and it messes it up. So no, it doesn't work for me. And I know it doesn't work for other people too, because I had a co-author who dictated a book, and I had to send it back to him and tell him that I could tell he dictated it, and he needed to redo the book. It wasn't like there were typos or anything. I could just tell in the flow of the story that there were things that were reiterated that shouldn't have been reiterated, and I could just the way they were said. I'm like, this kind of almost sounds like a verbal sort of like saying a thing that you can't remember if you said before, like you might do in a conversation if you can't remember you said something.
Stream of consciousness.
Yeah. So that's but some people, maybe if you practice a lot, maybe it does work really well, but it doesn't work for me, and I know it doesn't work for some other people as well for sort of the same reasons.
Yeah, I can only dictate my longhand. Like if I am sitting writing, and I don't want to sit there and type it all up, then I will dictate it into the computer. But that's the only time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you're just reading something you already wrote. Yeah, longhand, really? That's insane.
Like, yeah, that's about 90% of my writing.
It's like with a pen in like your hand?
Yep.
I gotta ask, why do you do that? Is it just because it's convenient, or you like it, or?
I have the easiest flow of thought to paper with a pen and paper.
That works.
Yeah, I'm trying to convert more to typing, mainly for the sake of paper use. My bottom drawer of my dresser is dedicated to notebooks. I have an entire dresser drawer filled with nothing but blank notebooks.
You're just murdering trees left to right and center.
I know. Gosh, I'm a terrible person. So yeah, I mean, I have a filing cabinet that, you know, the entire drawer is all of the, you know, reprints and longhands of edits from my first book, and it's the entire drawer. So
wow.
Book 2 is about half that. Book 3 was a little bit less than that, so I'm getting better. But
I do. What you're saying though is you know, I wouldn't want you to change just because I wouldn't do it, but some people do it. They're like, well, you shouldn't do that, silly. But if it's working for you, you should do it. But that's another thing for people is that if something's not working, stop doing it and try and find the thing that is. And if it's something like writing longhand, that's what you got to do. Then that's what you got to do.
Yeah, when I reach a point where I can't get past a scene, then I will handwrite it, and then I'll get past it.
Cool. That's neat.
Totally off of Facebook ads, but that's all I do because side roads are fantastic.
So any final super secret tips for writing a fabulous Facebook ad?
That's a really good question. It's fabulous tips for writing it. I mean,
should I do the theme song?
There you go. You want to know a little bit about your audience and what resonates with them. There's one of the things that we know about people is that men are more interested in things than women are, and women are more interested in what other people are currently feeling than men are. Which is not to say that either sex is not interested in the other things at all. It's just if you were to pick anything that actually differentiates the way that we focus and what things we're interested in, those are those things. So if you're writing an ad that's targeting men and male readers, you would want to have more of a narrative and plot-based ad. And if you're writing an ad that may target women, you might want to have an ad that's focused more on the characters and what the character motivations are and what they're trying to achieve in the story. And that would be one of the things I think would work a lot. And just it goes beyond that. So just think about your audience, think about what they're interested in, what they're going to want to read. Like I said, if you're writing political thrillers and you're going to target men in red states over 45, you have a lot of information about that demographic that you can use when you're writing that ad. So think a lot about who's going to see that ad, because unlike your blurb, you got one blurb for everybody. But with ads, you can really break it up, and you could actually run different ads for different age groups, different locations, and all sorts of stuff like that, and give them different content. So you really want to think about that when you're writing your copy.
So you can actually have the same image with different ad copy targeting different demographics and see which one hits the strongest.
Yep, exactly.
Very good.
Because Facebook allows you those options of targeting different demographics and testing and seeing what works and what doesn't. Once you find a winner, you could transport that over to Amazon and run an AMS ad using that particular ad.
Well, I think you can do this now on AMS, on the regular AMS. I find that my ones that don't have any text work better on Amazon. I've used something called Amazon Advantage ads for quite some time. They got a new name now. I think it's Advertising Console. But those ones actually don't let you put text in. It's only just your book cover. And those ones convert way better than the ones on the author version of AMS ads where you have to put text in. But I think the author version lets you not put text in now as well. So
Interesting.
I know you wouldn't think that would be the case, but it worked a lot. You can spot them too. When you look at the sponsored ads, you'll see some of them that have no text.
Right. Well, yeah, I have seen those. I was wondering if they convert better or not.
It's not terribly far-fetched because you're scrolling through Facebook, and a lot of times, because what can I say? I'm a Facebook scroller. I will stop because I see the picture or the video, and sometimes I'll watch like a few seconds of video or finish the video and be like, oh, let me read what's on the top of this, because I didn't actually read it before I even looked at the picture or watched the video. So, I don't find that too far-fetched.
This seems indicative of your general behavior too. Like I never read blurbs, I never read.
It totally is. It really is. I just wasn't. I don't know.
Just show me the pictures.
Right. Show me all the cats, all the pretty, all the cute puppies.
There you go. Cool. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Unless anyone has any questions you guys want that they want to throw in.
Let's see. Shadow the Illustrator. What's a good way to match an image to your genre? If you are picking an image for an ad, would you suggest the art matching or going well with the cover art?
I've never worried about making the art go well with the cover art. I want because, for example, my ads that work the best don't have people on them, and my book covers that work the best have people on them, and so they actually have very different layouts and stuff like that. And actually, and it might be because I'm showing two very different views that actually helps. And like, it's got epic spaceships and it's got people. You know, that might be what's working. I do think, like, for example, like if you were writing a book, you would want some similarities, because you wouldn't want like an anime picture, and then when they get to your cover, your thing, it's like a gritty noir urban fantasy or something like that. Like, obviously, you're going to want it to be somewhat aligned. But I won't think I would worry so much about like art style. You know, like for example, I have some ads that are like they're almost like this sort of chalk watercolor images that this guy has done, and they work really, really well. Although my art is all very photorealistic on my book covers, and that seems to do well, despite that.
So certainly should have the same type of tone.
Yeah,
but not necessarily the same artistic style per se.
Yeah, I would. That's my feel. The other thing, of course, is worth mentioning is that every demographic, every genre has a different demographic, and different things are true in different genres. So that's why I tell people to experiment. You know, get a bunch of different pictures off of some site like Pixabay or Deposit Photos, and run the gamut, because you will be surprised by the images that do end up working almost all the time, I would say.
So you have filled my head, and I'm sure all of our listeners, viewers' heads with so much to think about, and I'm a little mind blown right now. But could you let our viewers, listeners know where they can find you, get in touch with you?
Sure. You can go, if you want to reach out to me directly, you can go to aeon14.com. That's AEON 14.com. There's a contact link up at the top that you can reach out to me. If you look for Michael Cooper on Facebook, chances are you'll find me. Although I won't look like this, you know, I'll look like a normal human being, but you can message me. I don't always go and check the spam stuff in Facebook Messenger, but I do usually after a podcast like this. So I'll hunt around and make sure that any messages get in there. You can always go to my author page too and reach out to me there, which is MD Cooper Author on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Michael. And thank you, audience, for listening and for viewing and hanging out with us in the live chat. As always, we will be back next Thursday to talk about, I'm a terrible host, I'm not sure what we're talking about. We're going to talk about something epic on the writer's journey.
Yeah, John.
Coming Monday, there's also going to be John. What was that?
John Delarose on next Thursday. We're going to be talking about crowdfunding your book.
Oh, John Delarose.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
John Delarose and crowdfunding. Nice. And then, of course, Monday with the live show with Josh and Scott and all their shenanigans. But for tonight, I am God, I just need to look. For Lauren Moore, I am Kayleen Williams. Thank you for joining us on your writer's journey. Be sure to come back next week, and when we're going to talk about some reading, writing, and everything in between, right here on Keystroke Medium. Good night.
Yeah.